Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
We are now going to have a very interesting topic. Ram, Sitā.
Yes. Namaste everybody. I'll just start straight away since we lost a bit of time. We'll just say the Guru Mantra first. I had to begin Friday with the word Shri. Shri Natha means the Lord of Shri, that is Lakshmi. Janaki Nathe, the Lord of Janaki, that is Sitā, is Abheda, meaning they are undifferentiated. They are the one. You cannot separate one from the other. Paramatmani. That is that Paramatma, the same Paramatma, the Lord of Shri, is the Lord of Sitā. Tathapi, meaning despite it. Mama Sarvasva, meaning my everything, is Sri Rāma Kamalalochane, in the lotus eyes of Sri Rāma. Meaning they are lording Rāma. The form of Narayana as Rāma is something very high, that if I have a choice between the form of Narayana himself and Rāma himself, I will choose Rāma. That's what it means. Because Adhyatma Ramayana tells us that Sri Rama is Omkara. Not just avatar, he is Omkara himself. So we will go into a little bit with that. Before that, I wanted you all to chant one mantra with me 3 times, which intuitively Guruji made all of you chant yesterday at the temple. That is Om Janaki Vallabhaya Swaha. Alright? Om Janaki Vallabhaya Swaha. Om Janaki Vallabhaya Swaha. Om Janaki Vallabhaya Swaha. So, before I go into the spiritual part of Ramayana, we are going to start with the Jyotish part. Like, as if it's you're using these words every day, right? Maryada Purushottama. What does this Purushottama mean? Guruji referred to him as the Kala Purusha himself. He is the perfect Purusha. Just before I start into it, I want to give a little intro. So when the Ramayana was completed, it's a unique epic that it immediately, we had variations in every language possible. It's not just translations, it's variations. Every language, every dialect of India, including tribal dialects. You know, in Madhya Pradesh there's a Bhil tribe, even they have their Ramayana. So every tribe had their Ramayana, every region had their Ramayana, every dialect had their Ramayana. And this is, I don't think the Mahabharata has the status. And these Ramayanas are, of course, there are slight variations, and there certain variations go more in depth on certain aspects of his life. In Sanskrit, there are actually only 2 or 3. One is of course the Moola, which is the Valmiki Ramayana. And then we have Sri Vedavyasa's Adhyatma Ramayana. I will be touching a lot from Adhyatma Ramayana today as well. So there is another one. So there are altogether 3 Ramayans in Sanskrit, and then an uncountable amount of Ramayans in different languages and regions of India. So when he was born, all of you know the basic story, that he was born because Ravana had acquired so much of Siddhi, which he did to Shiva, that he was ready to conquer the lokas, 3 lokas. And that is what shook up the devatas. That if he conquers the 3 lokas, we would not be able to get those lokas back. That's when they had gone to Narayan. And this form of Narayan, he took a complete Manushya Rupa. Because one of the boons that Ravana had got from Brahma, because he told Brahma, I want to be immortal. And Brahma said, I cannot give you that boon. But I am telling you that no devata, no god, and no animal, no demon can kill you. So if no demon and no god can kill you, he didn't mention human beings. Because he thought human beings and animals were lowly creatures anyway. You're usually scared of the devatas. So he said, no devata and no asura will kill you. That's why he took the avatar of a human being, of Manushya. It is only when the time came for him to depart, for the function of the avatar was completed, that Brahma himself came and also sent Kala at the same time and told him, remember your Vaishnava Rupa. And he told him to remember his Vaishnava Rupa, only then he departed, he took his form and he went off on the banks of the river Sarayu. He left the city along with everybody. That is why he is called Maya Manushya Harim. But this is Hari himself who has come in the Purna Rupa of Manushya. He is constantly referred to like that. He had to be a Manushya in order to kill Ravana. In Mahabharata, in Sri Krishna Avatara, you will see that Sri Krishna from time to time shows his divine self to different people. He showed it to his mother Yashoda, he showed it to Putana Rakshasi, then of course he showed it to Arjuna, his Vishwarupa. He was very much aware. He did a lot of alokik or miraculous acts, like for example when Draupadi's sari was being removed and he ensured that the sari became non-ending, that they couldn't remove. There were many, many miraculous acts he does. In Rama's life, he lives the life of the perfect man and prince. He doesn't do any miracle. He does do shapamochana. In the sense, he does touch his feet on the stone and Ahalya comes to life. But he doesn't do other acts. So his whole life is in this Divya Maya Manushya Harim. It's a Maya kind of a Rupa. Since his Maya Manushya, he has a Jataka, he will feel all the emotions of a Manushya Jataka. And we are going to first start with a Jyotish analysis of his Jataka, as we would do with anybody, by applying all the principles that we have learned so far in studying, when we study somebody's 7th bhava or marriage. Now we have a catch here, so we don't have all the detail. We don't have a time, which means we don't have degrees, we don't have the vargas, so we don't even have Navamsha, we don't have a Tarakaraka, Atmakaraka, nothing. We have a horoscope, which all of you know, where he has said that he was born in Karkata Lagna with Vakpati Hindu Yuti in Karkata Lagna, meaning Jupiter and Moon Lagna, Pancha Graha in Swarchasthana, so Panchasu Grahas in Swarchasthana, which you all know, Andrew, Guruji, everybody has been discussing, all of you have been discussing the chart. And we have 2 factors only of the Panchanga. We have the Nakshatra, Punarvasu, and we have the Tithi, which is Navami. So that is a big help to us. Because in marriage analysis, Tithi plays a very, very big role. Why does Tithi play a big role? Because Tithi, as all of you know, is ruled by Venus. who is the Lord of Jalatattva. And without Jalatattva, we cannot have love, emotion, or marriage in our lives. And if only the Tithi or the Lord of the Tithi blesses us, carries that water into our life, does love, emotion, and marriage occur. Without that, we can do nothing. So the Tithi has many roles, so we can do all the analysis related to the Tithi because we know that the Tithi is Navami Tithi. So that's a very, very good, big, important tool that we have. So we are going to go through some certain very basic analysis before going into the spiritual interpretation of it. We have the seventh house, which is Jaya Bhava or Kalatra Bhava. Okay? So, if you look at the Daresha, which is Shani, at first glance you can say that Daresha is Ucha, oh wow, but I think a few days ago Guruji talked about that Daresha, though it is Ucha, it is Vakri, which means it's giving the results of a Nicha Shani. Right? So Daresha is immediately you already know that Daresha is giving you Nicha results. That is number one. Alright. The Karaka of the seventh house is Shri, that is Shukra. The Karaka is Ucha and placed in the Bhagyasthana, so which is a very, very, that's an excellent position for the Karaka of the seventh house to be. Then we look at the Bhava itself, and in the Bhava itself we see an Ucha Varamarana Karak Mangal. It is the fifth lord. The fifth lord in the seventh, the fifth lord acts as something called a forced karaka, that it forces you, it will force you to get married. So forced karaka and the lord of love and bhakti, Mangal, which is exalted, which is excellent, which is placed in the seventh house, but it is marana karaka. But we are analyzing the seventh bhava, so what does it mean? Having Mangal in the seventh bhava? What is the Mangal in the seventh bhava? It is Mangalika dosha, right? So the first thing that will strike you is that this horoscope has Mangalika dosha. To me, when I look at this chart, I find that Mangal to be the most problematic. Shani is problematic definitely because the Bhavesha is giving Nicha results, but to have Mangalika dosha, it causes separation with the spouse. It can even cause death, or if not death, but death-like long separation. Now examine Drishtis on the Bhava. Mars itself being present is giving the Drishti, and Ashtami Shravana is Nicha and giving Drishti over there. Alright? So you have Mangal and Rahu's Drishti on the seventh Bhava. So all of this together doesn't sound very well. You can't say, oh wow, fantastic marriage. You can't say that. Karaka is fantastic. The hand of God, she herself is exalted in Bhagyasthana. That is a very. Do you know something about Shukra being exalted? When Shukra is exalted in our charts, it means that we are always looking for a God in the spouse. Such people are never happy in their relationships. They often break their relationships also many times, though not necessary. If it is in a man's chart, he is looking for a woman who's like a goddess. If it's in a woman's chart, she is looking for a Rāma, like who's like a god. And they never find such a person who's like a goddess or god, and they get disappointed. So they are never ever happy in their marriage. Ucha Shukra is pure. It is like a blooming lotus of Kamal, of Shri, because the lotus, grows from the swamp, where there is a lot of swamp and mud, like a long stem, it comes out and it blooms. And that is why that lotus is Ucha Shukra. It is Shri herself, it is absolutely pure. And hence a person is looking for that pure divine person as a spouse, and they don't get it and they get frustrated. So Ucha Shukra is not a very happy thing if you want to get married and have conjugal bliss. But I guess for Sri Rāma it didn't matter because she was Shri herself. Although I must add over here, the scriptures tell us actually that she's not really Shri. They say that it is Yogmaya herself. She is the Lagini Shakti, Yogmaya. Constantly both Adhyatma Ramayana as well as Valmiki Ramayana said that when Narayana transformed himself, and they are not saying Vishnu Avatar, they are saying Sri Hari transformed himself, landed here with the snake and conch and his Yogmaya. That's because when he is Ananta Shaya, lying on Sheshanaga, the Shakti who is there with him is Yogmaya. It is that Yogmaya Shakti, along with Sheshana, who manifested. So Sitā is Yogmaya. Remember that. So, but nevertheless, that is an exalted Venus of divine feminine energy. So we can see that though that is very good, but Mars and Rahu are damaging the 7th house. Mars is giving Mangalika dosha, right? And Daresha is giving the results of a Nija Shani. Now tell me, is all this very nice? No, all this is not very nice. If your question is that why did this happen? Why were these combinations there? I'll soon come to that. Because their entire purpose was, Maricha had told Ravana that, she is born to kill you. When Ravana had told Maricha that you must transform yourself into a golden deer and entice Sitā, there are several chapters, even in Valmiki Ramayana, where Maricha is trying to tell you, please don't do this. But Maricha has already had an encounter with him. When he first went to kill Taraka Rakshasi, among them all the Rakshasas which were there, Marich was also there. Marich said that, no, you don't know what you are doing, what words you are uttering, what rubbish things are you saying, please don't say it. She said, do you know, perhaps she is born to kill you. She has been born to kill you, don't do this. She said, I'm so petrified of this divine Rāma. Anything that begins with a Rath, Shara, petrifies me. Whether it is a Rath, whether it is anything. Use the word 3 words he uses, of which one is a Rath. A chariot or anything. Anything which begins with the word Ra petrifies me. I shiver. Don't do this. But of course then Ravan threatened him that I will kill you. You decide whether you want to die right now, hideous death in my hands, or you want to die over there, you decide. So he had to do it and fulfill it. He, by the way, was a Rakshasa who lived in the forest with jata, emaciated body. He was a tapasvi. Marisha was a tapasvi Rakshasa. So Ravana had to go into the forest and kind of grab hold of him and tell him to do it. And of course Marish was shivering. So right from there, the thing is coming. She has been born to kill you. This was the whole game plan. Next slide. The Upapada analysis. Alright? You will see that the Arudha Lagna, Upapada Lagna, Darapada are all together in the 10th house with Surya. All of them are together. It is considered the most perfect combination. It's all one. You are one with your spouse. There is no other Dara. That Dara is only your Upapada. Okay? You can see that the Lord of Upapada is Uccha. When the Lord of Upapada is Uccha, you will get a spouse who is from a Uttama Kula. That is the word which is given in the Jyotish dictums. Uttama Kula, meaning will come from a very high family. She was the daughter of King Janaka. Now, Surya is considered a positive planet where marriage is concerned for Upapada. It is said, Rishi has said that Natra Ravi Papa, that Ravi is not Krura or malefic where marriage is concerned. In fact, you will get a very spiritual spouse. But the second house from Upapada is a house which sustains the Upapada, the house which sustains the marriage. And you can see Mercury is over there. Basically, we do a very simple analysis. We see that either whether there are malefic influences over there or whether there are benefic influences over there. You can see that there is a Rashi Drishti of a very benefic Jupiter and Moon, which will mitigate the Rashi Drishti of the malefic Mangal and Shani. So in one hand you have a Shani Mangala Drishti over there, on the other hand you have the fantastic Guru Chandra Drishti. The Guru Chandra Drishti was far, far higher. That is why there was a marriage, that is why the marriage also came together. But remember, this Shani and Mangal will try to damage because it is having Rashi Drishti on the second from Upapada. Okay? All of you know this, that the second from Upapada sustains or breaks the relationship. Go to the next slide. Yeah. No, okay, you can just go back to the first one. Okay? These are actually, dictums which are given by Maharishi Jaini. That if you have malefics and benefics equally aspecting the second from Upapada, then the evils will balance each other out. If it's only malefic, then it will damage the relationship or damage the thing. Next, we will talk about the Vivāha Anubhava. What is the experience of the Vivāha? Okay? Yeah, just go to the next slide and then you can come back. Just the way we said that the second from Upapada sustains that, it is actually taken from the concept of the second from the seventh house. So these are very, as I said, very basic principles of bhava analysis. So if the seventh house is to do with marriage, the eighth bhava, which is the second from seven, is the sustenance of the marriage. We looked at the second from Upapada, and for that, Rishi Jainini has given us sutras. We are now looking at the seventh from the seventh house, for which we get a lot of dictums from Parashara and other rishis as well. So that eighth house is called Mangalya Sthana. Alright, why is it called a Mangalya Sthana? In the Kalpurusha, it is lorded by Mars and Ketu, right, by Mangal. That Mangal, that Mars must always be auspicious. The word Mangal means auspicious. So Mars is benefit as long as it is auspicious. And whenever Mars becomes inauspicious, it becomes Amangal. That is the reason why Vedic wedding rituals, a bride wears red, a bride wears red in the parting of her hair, the bride wears red bangles. It's all to make Mangal auspicious. So that is it why it is called the Mangalya Sthana. That is why if Mangal is there in all these houses, it is not auspicious, it gives you a Mangalika dosha. So Mars is a very, very important graha out here. Hence, we don't want any association between the Mangalya Bhava and the Jaya Bhava, that is the house of your wife. There should not be any association. If there is any association, then there will be a long separation or you will lose the spouse in marriage. So we do not want the 8th house, 7th house association. Absolutely, these are primary dictums that we study. In this case, okay, just one more minute, sorry, yeah, just go back. So when we say that this 8th house tells us whether the marriage will be sustained or not sustained, it does something a little bit more than that. This 8th house you can also see from Chandralagna. But when we see from Chandralagna, it's more in a female Jataka. Okay? It says that will the couple live together and wedded bliss till the end of their life, or will it be cut short by the death of the spouse? And what will be, this is the important line for us in Sri Rāma's marriage, what will be the quotient of happiness and sorrow in that marriage? What will be the nature of the quotient of sorrow? So it will determine the quality of the marriage, not just the quantity of time, but the quality of the marriage itself. Okay now? Yeah. Actually, you can move forward. You can go to the slide. Okay. So here we have already seen that there is an association of 7th house and 8th house. What happens when there is an association of 7th house and 8th house? We tell the person go into Kumbha Vivāha, because your first relationship is bound to end, or you will have huge sorrow. You can see Ashtamesh Ravana is Nicha and giving Drishti to the 7th house. So Ashtamesh Ravana is actually then connecting the 8th and 7th house over there. Alright? You will see the other Ashtami Shani is also giving Nicha results. So both Ashtameshas have become Nicha. But that Nicha Rahu, who is Ravana out there, alright, because in the Parampara this is how the way we refer to the Grahas. In this case, Ashtamesha is Ravana, whereas Gadesha is Sri. So there is that 7th, 8th thing power. That means that first relationship will break. And actually in the end it did happen. We were discussing yesterday that Lakshmana's chart was similar to this. That means this analysis will also apply to Lakshmana. So Lakshmana was physically separated from his wife for 14 years. Well, Rāma was separated for 1 year, but the sorrow that marriage experienced was far more than what Urmila's and Lakshmana's marriage experienced. Urmila's and Lakshmana's marriage was something that they went to it together. When Lakshmana told Urmila, this is what I'm going to do, she was very unhappy, but like she accepted that she was with him in this decision taken by him. But in this case, two things had happened. One was that she was kidnapped by Ravana, and the whole trauma, the whole, that whole experience where she hair in one hand and caught hold of her thighs in the other and dragged her into the chariot. And he had full intentions. When he was talking to marriage, he had full intentions. He said, I will take her and I will rape her. Dharshana. And then, he was told that you cannot do that over there. So, these are not just words. These are there in the shlokas. That was his intention. He had a very evil eye. And when he had seen her, when he actually saw her for the first time, when he went to kidnap her, he was absolutely mesmerized by her because she was very, very beautiful. That is that even when Rāma and Sitā get married and they come back to the palace and they spend a lot of happy moments together, there they say that Rāma was struck by her mental strength and by her physical beauty. She was physically very, very beautiful. There was absolutely naturally she is the main Shakti of the Divine Feminine. I mean, she is the epitome or the sum essence of all beauty that was there in the universe. So Ravana was absolutely mesmerized. He was genuinely mesmerized. It was not just, he really, really wanted her. There was no question of it. So that is the bad drishti that you see. So you see that there is that breakage in the marriage. And that breakage in the marriage does happen. And this happens, which will come to the end. It does happen to the events which happen in Uttarakhand, where Sri Rāma has to go and leave her in the forest. And I told Lakshmana that don't tell her. You leave her, and when you are coming away, just tell her that this is, which was actually very cruel. And Sitā was so heartbroken that Lakshman said that he saw her, that she was rolling on the floor of the forest, howling away. So that is absolutely very, very heart-rending. This part is definitely not there in Lakshmana Urmila's life. And this part, of course, that is there, that this experience as Manushya, both Sitā and Rāma had to experience because of the curse of Rishi Bhrigu. You know about the curse of Rishi Bhrigu. So, Bhrigu's wife had given shelter to the entire Rakshasa Kula. Some battle was going on. And he had given shelter. Told them, you come into my kutira, into my hut, and hit the entire bunch of all the Rakshasas. And actually, Vishnu, Narayan had seen that. And he said, oh my God, this is not acceptable at all. So, he went over there, and as soon as Bhrigu Rishi's wife had stepped out from inside into the complex, he just threw his chakra and beheaded her. He says, this is not on, I have to do something about it. He just threw his discus and beheaded her. So Bhrigu was absolutely, he just lost his head. Bhrigu Bhargava Rishi is related to the planet Venus also, as all of you know. And he cursed that what you have done, how much sorrow and pain will you cut my wife's head? And I am cursing you that you will have, that you, in your marriage, you and your wife will have that much of suffering. So now, because he was the divine, he, of course, naturally in his divine state as Narayana, he is untouched by any emotions, right? So it's only when he took the Manushya Rupa, it's only then that he had to experience this. So that part, because this was a question a lot of people had asked me also, why did they have to go through this? Because they didn't have to go through this. Sitā had to go, that could have just happened and Sitā went when their job was done. But this cruel thing, this part, I mean, once they asked her to prove her innocence, she took a vow. Second time, Rama just told Lakshmana. He just told him, you know, people are talking too much, go and dump her in the forest. Actually, that's what he said. And leave her and when you are coming home, you tell her. Don't tell her anything now. Imagine the shock and the pain, and that's what then Lakshmana was crying, and Lakshmana said, yes, my protection to her is now gone. And he turns and he sees she's rolling and rolling and rolling on the floor and howling. And Rama equally, of course, was in great sorrow and pain. It was pain actually. So that pain, because they say when a rishi gives a curse, that curse cannot go away. That curse has to fructify. Because they have done so much of tapasya, their words do not go down the drain. Their words have to fructify. So how will it fructify? So it's only when Rama is in a Manushya Rupa, only then it can fructify. Otherwise, how will Rama feel pain? Or how will Sita feel pain? They can't feel pain, they are God. I mean, they are the divine. So they cannot feel pain unless in this form. So that is the fulfillment of Bhrigu Rishi's curse that he had to do. That was the thing. And of course, then he was there all throughout, and Rishi Valmiki took her in, and her children were, brought up. But when one last time she was asked to do it, that she said, yes, I am taking the shapath that I have never looked at any other man than Sri Rama, and that if this line is true, then may Prithvi Devi, you take me in your lap. So for every vow she took, she asked Mother Earth to take her in her lap, and then the earth separated, a golden throne came. She was seated on the golden throne and taken into the Nagalokas. The Nagas also came. The throne was surrounded by the Nagas. The Nagas were all over the golden throne. Because she was the Maya, she had to be seated on the throne. She was taken into Nagaloka, and then soon after, when Sri Rama went back into Swarga, she was reinstated along with others. So that part one can understand. But the interim period, why a lot of people say we cannot understand, is because no Rishi's words ever go. They say that Rishi's tapasyas are so pure and so secret, they curse anybody, or if they give a boon to anybody, that nobody can break. That is why when Brahma gave a boon to Ravana that no Devata or Asura can kill you, nobody can break that. That has to happen. Whether it's Mahadev, whether it's Narayan, nobody can change those words. So similarly, these words of Bhrigu had that he will suffer intense pain. The way you beheaded my wife, beheaded through your chakra. I come back, he was out, he comes back and sees his wife's body to there. So in that great pain and anguish he had, because Narayan was there, just cursed him. So this is the part that intense suffering. That is why when Valmiki also has this intense suffering, the intense pain they have with each other. There are of course many other versions of this that happens with, Guruji was saying, it was there in one of the other Ramayans, that people say that in order to fulfill this curse of Bhrigu, that actually Sita sent a Mayavic energy or Rupa of hers out there. Like her essence was here with Ramayana and only one Mayavic energy went there. So these are whatever, these are all, they can be any kind of interpretation. But the main reason why that experience has to be there was because of that. Alright, so we see that separation, that's why I said that separation shall surely occur. And when Prashtamesh Rahu gives Drishti on Mangal, the Mangalika dosha gets triggered. In this I will say something else. You know, Swami Vivekananda has given a very, very beautiful analogy of this. And I should say it at this point and be written. So he said this whole story of Rama and Sita is that Rama is the Paramatma. This is goes without a word because Adhyatma Ramayana only refers to him as that. Sri Rama is the Paramatma and Sita is the Jivatma. Alright, So Sitā being kidnapped and trapped in Lanka is the Jivatma being trapped in the body. So our body is Lanka. And all those demons and asuras and pisach rakshasas who were torturing her while she was kidnapped, pulling her and torturing her, they are our gunas, our negative gunas, our tamas gunas. So our tamas gunas and pravrittis are all the time bothering us and torturing us and are preventing us from leaving this trapped Lanka-like body. So when could Sitarupi Jivatma leave the body is when Hanuman came. So Hanuman came as Guru Rupa. You know the first line of Hanuman Chalisa, right? Shri Guru Charana. So Hanuman is Guru Rupa. So Hanuman comes as Guru Rupa and shows her the ring of Rāma, right? And that ring of Rāma is supposed to be the enlightenment. That is the enlightenment. So the Guru gives you the enlightenment. That is Hanuman giving you the ring. These are Swami Vivekananda's words, he's written on it. So when the Guru gives you the enlightenment, only then the Jivatma can leave the body, that is, leave the Lanka. And you see, if you apply that, it's only then that Mangalika dosha gets transformed into the Guru Mangala Yoga. All of you are so caught up with that brilliant Gajakesari, which is of course Sri Ram. But have you seen that absolutely perfect Guru Mangala Yoga with Ucha Guru in Lagna and Ucha Mangal in the 7th house? So Hanuman enabled that conversion of this yoga to a Guru Mangala Yoga. If this conversion did not happen, she would not have been able to leave Lanka. She would not have been able to leave the clutches of Ravana and return. So that Guru Mangala Yoga happened there. Okay, next. Or shall we continue? Okay. Now the next part that we will discuss is about Ketu. Now I told you that Ketu is also a co-lord of the Mangalya Sthana. Alright? Now Ketu is not married to anybody. Ketu is only married to the Lagna. And Lagna is Shunya, therefore Ketu is a widow. Okay? Ketu is paired with God, it's like a nun. That is why if the 7th Lord gets associated with Ketu, the marriage becomes Shunya. The 7th Lord is like Venus in your horoscope, and the 8th Lord is like Ketu in your horoscope. Right? That is a Naisargika Bhaveshas. Now the Tithi Lord, who is all water, right? The Tithi Lord has to carry water to you. If the Tithi Lord is not carrying water to you, you are not going to get married. But if Ketu goes and associates with the 7th Lord who is like Venus, that marriage will become Shunya. Because Ketu's direction is upwards, so what does he do? He evaporates all water. You know that Ketu is absolutely Ugra. He is Rudra Swarupa. Right? He is Rudra Swarupa, he is Rudra himself. Nothing has more Agni than Ketu. He will evaporate any droplet of water anywhere near you. Okay? So, Ketu will not allow. Although Ketu promotes marriages in many cases, and they say nobody like Ketu can give you a fantastic spouse. That is because Ketu promotes lineages. But that is a different story altogether. To the extent Ketu can cause death, and hence 8th Lord in every horoscope behaves like Ketu. This photograph over here is of goddess Vivāha. Her depiction is like a Ketu. We always advise that none of you who are married or wish to get married should worship Vivāha. She is only worshipable by great yogis who have renounced and live in caves. Such people worship her. You people do not try to worship her, okay? I said that the Tithi is the water carrier. The Tithis are ruled by Shukra. So the Tithi Lord is a very, very important graha. Now if the Tithi Lord gets associated with Ketu, then a Shunya kind of marriage can happen. Or if the Tithi Lord gets associated with the 8th Lord, then also a Shunya kind of marriage can happen. Because the 8th Lord is as if it is Ketu. So we don't want Tithi Lord to be associated with, with either the 8th Lord or with Ketu, because then the marriage will go flat. And we don't want Ketu itself to be associated with the 7th Lord or Tithi Lord. There are 2 factors to it. Okay? Now, another point which I want to draw out to you is that if Ketu is placed in the 12th house in a horoscope, it is not considered to be good for marriage. Because when placed in the 12th house in any horoscope, whether Rashi or Navamsha, from certain points, it can give moksha, or the final emancipation of the soul. And if it is aspected by Venus, it can give asceticism or religious learning. So now, you see his chart, he has Ketu in the 12th house. That is one more point for you to see that that's not at all a good position for marriage. We do not like Ketu in the 12th house. We always say that the first 3 years they become problematic. We say that keep a dancing Ganeshan in your headstand to control that Ketu. And why is Ketu not good in the 12th house? Because Ketu gives moksha or kaivalya when placed in the 12th house of Rashi, Navamsha and some other points. It is also said if that Ketu is aspected by Shukra, it can give you religious learning and can make you an ascetic. It definitely made Sri Rama an ascetic, didn't it? Because he had to wear saffron robes, he had to take a diksha for that brahmacharya and go into the forest. So this dictum of the Rishi, this is Rishi Jainini's dictums, this dictums of the Rishi has worked perfectly in Sri Rama's chart. Both Ketu in the 12th house, secondly Venus aspecting Ketu. Alright? Made him a yogi. You can also see that Ketu is a dire malefic placed in the 12th house from Chandra. So when there is a malefic in the 12th house from Chandra, it can cause great separation and sorrow. Okay? Now let us look at the Lord of the Tithi. He's born in which Tithi? He's born in Navami. So who's the Lord of the Tithi? It is Surya. Right. Is Surya anywhere? You can see that Surya is aspected by Rahu. There is a Graha Drishti of 8th Lord on the Tithi Lord. So the 8th Lord is like Ketu, I just mentioned it to you. So there is a unity, there is a yoga between the Tithi Lord and the 8th Lord. So if there is a yoga between the Tithi Lord and the 8th Lord, that will also cause sorrow and separation. And what kind of a yoga that is? That is almost like a Grahana yoga. Of course, that Surya is so powerful, nobody can do Grahana over there. See, Surya is Ucha and the Rahu is Nicha over there. So can you see there are so many combinations in the chart? So many. These combinations show that actually there is a lot of sorrow and the marriage will also not last, which actually did happen. And your question can be, why were there such combinations for marriage in the chart? That can be your question. That if this is a divinely ordained horoscope, why were there these combinations for marriage? We can see. Because that was the game plan. Apart from the fact of Bhrigu's curse is a different aspect which we had to experience to kill Ravana. Okay? Next. Alright. Vivāha Tithi. Now, before going into Vivāha Tithi, there is one more point. The Janma Tithi, let's go back a little bit to use this chart, it's the same chart. The Janma Tithi should have an association with the 9th house. Your own Tithi should have an association with the 9th house for you to get married. There is an association over there. Is there an association between Janma Tithi and, not Janma Tithi, sorry, Vivāha Tithi? I was go to the next slide. Between the Vivāha Tithi and the 9th law. Now it is said that many people observe that his Vivāha Tithi was Panchami. You cannot exactly find a direct shloka. They do not mention the Vivāha Tithi to be Panchami. Just 2-3 days from now, on 18th of December, there's going to be a huge festival in Ayodhya, huge, where they actually celebrate the Panchami as the Vivāha Tithi of Rāma and Sitā. There's a huge festival. In fact, I think Rahul is staying back actually in Ayodhya for 4 days just to attend that. Oh, yeah, right? They also celebrated in a very big way in Mithila, in Janakpuri. They make these big idols of Ram, Sita, they get them married, there's a huge festival. So though there is no, as such, direct in any of the mainstream Ramayanas, any quotation, but we can say that it probably is correct because the 9th lord is Jupiter. That means he can get married either on a Panchami or on a Trayodashi. That is in a perfect normal marriage, the 9th lord will have an association with the Tithi lord. Not if there are issues and if the grahas are debilitated, then the interpretation varies. So in that case, if Panchami is being celebrated as the Vivāha Tithi, it is also probably correct. Nakshatra is given. It is given in 2 shlokas in Valmiki Ramayana. They say that the Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra. He got married in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra. First, Vasishtha gave when he went to Janakpuri and they appointed Vasishtha to, preside over the wedding ceremony, to be the priest for the wedding ceremony. He then told King Janaka that marry them in Janmova. I'll tell you the shloka. The first shloka is given by Vasishtha. This is what Vasishtha told Dasharatha. The first shloka, Maghadya Mahavayo Tritiya Divase Prabhu. Today is Magha Nakshatra and in 3 days from Magha Nakshatra, when Falgunya Uttare, when Uttara Falguni Nakshatra comes, see they all spoke in a very poetic language. Rajans Tasmi Vaivahikam Kuru. Get the marriage done then. Rama Lakshmana Yartha Dana Karya Sukadeva and do all the Dana Karya. He accepted that, and then the second shloka, this is all said by Dasharatha. So Dasharatha then again later on formally requests for that Uttare Divase Brahmana Falguni Bhyam Manishina Vaivahika Prashasati Bhavo Yatra Prajapati. So the Devata Uttara Falguni Nakshatra is a great Bhaga, it's a great Aditya. The people say that the word Bhagavan has come from Bhaga itself. It is supposed to be a nakshatra which can bless any kind of marriage, union, any beginning, any creative initiation, and particularly for conjugal bliss and marriage. It is one of the best nakshatras. And it has to be in Bhaga Nakshatra because it is Bhagavan's nakshatra. He was a Prajapati, as a creator he was Prajapati. That's why they have written Bhagayatra Prajapati. Vaivahika Prashamashanti means that marriages prosper when they are conducted in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra. So that Uttara, and so within a span of a few shlokas, actually 2 shlokas are given on the nakshatra. Let's go back to the previous one. Alright. Now I want to tell you something. When you open even the Valmiki Ramayana to read, you will see, though the first chapter is called Adi Kanda, which is correct, or Vala Kanda, there is no story of Vala over there. Just in a few pages they describe Rama's birth and all those things that happen and the curse and everything. It gets done in a few pages. So the whole story actually begins with the Ram Sita Vivāha. This whole kand is woven around the Ram Sita Vivāha. So they say he learns things, he does his thing, and he's in his 16th year, but he hasn't completed 16, Vivāha Tithi 16. the court, Dasharatha discusses with his ministers that I think we should get the boys married. The conversation starts in Rama's 16th year. Want to get Rama married. Vivāha, Atithi, Jupiter. Jupiter triggers this whole thing off. And as they are discussing, in walks Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra's arrival was the sole purpose of to marry Rama with Sitā, unite Rama with Yogamaya. That was his own sole purpose. Why was that purpose so important? Because Sitā was the kingpin of the linchpin of the game plan. The game plan was to kill Ravana and his entire kula. Sitā was the linchpin because he had so much of tamasic gunas and rajas guna. He had a great asakti for women, and they knew with Sita's astounding beauty, because Sitā was created so beautiful also for that was the only way. They could not entrap any other women to go and do the job. Only Yogamaya can do it. So the whole game plan was that. That's why the book, if you read carefully, it begins straight away. The main thing is with the marriage. That all this happens very quickly. 16th year, in comes Vishwamitra. His whole purpose was to take him to Mithila. He tells him, of course, I want to take him because there are these Rakshasas who are disturbing me. And Dasharatha shivers over there and says that how can you take him? Because my boys have not even learned Yuddhaniti or actual mastery of weapons or anything. How can you take them? And did you know that Vishwamitra was a king, like he was a Rajan? Do you know that nobody has mastery over weapons like Vishwamitra does? He gave birth to 100 weapons, of which 2 weapons are Jyotish and Shakti. Given every weapon by everybody. Vishwamitra was the entire trigger to this whole thing. And that's why they said, finally Vasishtha had to step in and say that you think Vishwamitra couldn't do it? Why is he taking? Then then he says that no, it is for the kalyana of your children, but Adhyatma Ramayana gives the real line. He just Vasishtha goes straight up to Dasharatha and said that Manushya na jayate Paramatma santati. Rama is not a Manushya, he is not born a man, he is the Paramatma. And he goes on to say, no other words that he is Avatirna as Avatara, no. He is Omkara, she is Yogamaya, Lakshmana, Sheshanaka. All those shlokas are given over there. Ahalya, when she worshipped, said that from the dust of your feet, the Vedas delight. Because it's Sri Hari himself. He repeatedly said it is Narayan himself who's just come down in this rupa. That's why Dasharatha backed off and being said, because Rama hadn't learned any Yuddhaniti. When he went first to the Tataka forest to kill that Tarak Rakshasi, Vishwamitra initiated him to Gayatri mantra. Vishwamitra initiated him to Bala Shakti mantras. Vishwamitra initiated him into all kind of Yuddhaniti. Vishwamitra was the main guy out here. He did everything. He finished that and then he killed all the Rakshas. He listened to a lot of stories. He said, what do we do now? Oh, we go to Mithila. Within a few pages of Balakanda things, we go to Mithila. And why do we go to Mithila? Not to get married, no Sitā, nothing. We go to Mithila, see, I'm giving you see what happened when he killed all the demons, all the gods told him, you better give all your weapons and weapon Vidya to Rama, which Vishwamitra does. And he says, come, let's go to Mithila. So why? The Haradhanu is over there. Shiva Dhanush, Haradhanu is over there. And nobody can give that dhanu, it is just kept over there. Come, let's go and take a look at it. What a con job. Didn't even mention anything about Sitā out there. Takes him over there, where Janak already knew. Janak has been told by Narada, the girl in your house is Yogamaya herself. That's why you found her. She will be married to Narayan. Narayan will take birth as this. When he comes, he always gives the daughter in their hand. There was no Swayamvara before. All that is rubbish. So these people came and said, no, we've come to see the Haradhanu. And when Janak asked him, who are these fantastic boys, gave his lineage, Dasharatha's son, Ram, Lakshman, etc. Well, okay. You you know what, just wait, I've got a daughter, I'm bringing her, if he lifts it, I'll marry her to him. Nothing of the things that you see in the stories, it is true, nothing is false, but it was all connived and done. Not that there was a surrender going on and Ram Lakshman walked in. Ram Lakshman was brought in to check the Dhanush and immediately Jagat said, wait, I'm getting my daughter. Because Narada had already told him that when Narayan's Rupa of Sri Ram comes, you will have to pair them off together. Don't give the girl to anybody else. So these things happened over there. Their marriage takes place. So much of discussion over that marriage. So much. So if those who are Indians who will know that when there is a marriage, like a proper marriage thing, both, even if a boy and girl like each other, both sides talk to each other, both sides have a lot of exchanges, then this happens, that, and that whole thing, for pages and pages, there is a description. Oh, let's go and call Raja Dasharath. So messengers goes to Raja Dasharath. Raja Dasharath comes with his entire entourage with great fanfare. Whole thing comes, they are sad, they are, greeted, everything goes on. Huge thing, so much, because that is the crux. The marriage is the crux. Because the story is beginning. That is why before even the book has opened, Vishwamitra has taken a 16-year-old boy and got him married. Because immediately she has to be kidnapped and they have to kill Ravana. That's the game plan. That's the whole thing is that. And it is designed so that it will be done through Sitā. So the whole thing is that, and Vasishtha tells him, and of course on the way he goes to Gautama's ashram and the whole Ahalya incident happens where he gives mukti to Ahalya's thing. And Ahalya of course knew that he was going to come. And all he says, my entire life I am going to give to your Pada Pankajam, the dust of which delights even the Vedas. But he doesn't project that thing. He's told to do something, he does that. So he is then, the whole marriage takes place, and then immediately that whole event of how to send them off to the forest happens, because he has to be sent off to the forest. It has to be a long time. He has to cross and go all the way to Lanka to have this whole thing done. Why the Vanara Sena is helping him? Because Vanaras were animals. The animals also can, the animals and the human beings are the ones who can affect him. And also, of course, as we said, there was a shark. This shark was of Narada. Narada had told, because he fell in love with somebody and he wanted to get married. And Narayan said that, oh God, Narada can't get married. He has to remain a tapasvi. What will happen? So that when the girl first sees, the girl whom he loved, first sees Narayan's face, he saw a monkey's face. So Narada got so angry, he says that you are making fun of monkeys. These monkeys will be your support when you really need them. That's why this whole monkey army was there. And they were of course all people who've been cursed. They were Gandharvas and Rishis who were all cursed and they had to take life. All of them, including Jambavan the bear was a very great Rishi. So all of them got reborn in order to conduct this. So that is how it happened. And her eternal. So they get married, they go back, they are absolutely, Rama is, mesmerized with her by her mental strength and physical beauty. What an ideal combination. And then of course the curse takes place, immediately they go off, okay? Because the whole focus is on all this, on their marriage and all this. So they come away over here and then you know the rest of the story about her being trapped. But it goes without saying that Ravana's intentions, because he was very, very asuri pravritti. Despite the fact he had the kind of siddhi he got from Shiva, despite all that siddhi, his pravritti was so asuri, he was absolutely filled with tamaguna and rajaguna. So he talked openly, I want to rape her. When I rape her, that Rama will cry and be weak and I will put an arrow through his chest. He told Maricha that. And Maricha puts his hands on his head, don't speak about him like that. Don't do it, you don't know what you are saying. Don't do it. She has been born to kill you. Raja, he is going there to rescue his wife. But that bit, that bit which troubles many people as to why was that intense suffering was there, where she had to be left in the forest and be with in Valmiki's ashram, bring up the children Lava and Kush for so many years. That was Rishi's sharp. That is there. You can see, because of that, this horoscope has all these horrible marriage-breaking yogas. It's filled with it. It's because of it. Lakshman did not have that sharp. He did not have Riku's curse. So for him only that separation was there. They were separated for 14 years. You just got married within 1 year's time. You were separated from your wife. No mobile, nothing, no email, absolutely no connection. So Urmila also suffered a lot for such a long time. In your prime year, you just got married. So that is a huge suffering. So for him it was a physical and a mental suffering. Whereas for Ram Sita it was the greatest sorrow and torture. Greatest. As I said, not only the torture between each other, but also the torture to be kidnapped by Ravana in this whole experience. Okay, so this was it, the whole game plan. That's why when he was saying that Ram Sita Vivāha is a very delicate issue, it is delicate because it is the essence of the whole of Ramayana. That is the game plan. It is through her that she was. That's why the story begins with the wedding of Ram Sita. Within a few pages, I love Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra as a rishi plays a very big role over here. So if you ever really want to know all about the life of Vishwamitra, it is given in great detail in several chapters, in several sections of Valmiki Ramayana. In the initial part, though, Vishwamitra himself gives all the stories and tells it, but it is later that again he repeats all the stories. Uttarakanda, many people say Uttarakanda is not really a part of Valmiki Ramayana. I do not agree with that, it's very much part of Valmiki Ramayana. There are so many shlokas. They say because they cannot accept the fact that entirely all these Sita stories happens over there, where Sita is banished or Sita is crying or all this, because they cannot accept it. Hence they say that, oh no, Uttarakhand is that. Uttarakhand is a very big part of the Ramayana. And not only that, if that story goes, when this thing completes, Rama had a very big job. He had to settle all the brothers and their children. So they are very elaborate. I mean, this is not the scope of today's discussion, so I won't go into it. But he settles Bharata, he settles Shatrughna, he settles Bharata's sons and Shatrughna's sons, and he settles Lava and Kush also. Lava and Kush, he did Rajabhishek in different, so he did Rajabhishek to Shatrughna, he did Rajabhishek to Bharat's children, he did Rajabhishek to Lava and Kush. He did, in fact, the Udaipur, Ranas are, I think, Kush's dynasty. Kush's dynasty are the Mewads of Udaipur. And yeah, so they take great pride in that. So he had to establish all of them. After doing all this work, then Kala, Brahma himself came, and he also sent Kala. Kala came, Kala's Yama came and said, Brahma sent me. He told me to remind you. Remind you. It's time for you to go back. Yama doesn't spare anybody. So Yama has to come. But Yama can actually kill him. But in Manushya Rupa, the dharma cannot fall down. If you are Manushya, you have to see Yama's face. So Brahma sent Yama. Brahma sent him. First Brahma met him himself and said, remember your Vaishnava Rupa. Remember, please remember, your work is done. All of you have to do. Then he sends Kala. Because as Manushya, you have to see Yama's face. So Kala comes and says, oh Lord, Brahma has sent me. He sent me, he told me to remind you once again of your Vaishnava Rupa and that your work is done. And he folds his hands and goes. What a beautiful way for Yama to show his face. And of course, there is a story, I think Guruji mentioned it yesterday, and when Lakshman barges in. And so Lakshman has to do, because you see, Sheshnag has to go before. Sita has to go before, Sheshnag has to go before. They have to be ready there to receive Narayan when he comes, because he goes straight into Anantashaya. This is unmanifested Narayan we are talking about. You have studied so much about Vyakta Vasudeva, right? So who is on Ananta Shayana? Vyakta Vasudeva. So this is the Vyakta Vasudeva who comes down. That is why she comes down, and when the chariot comes, Shri Devi, Bhu Devi comes along with it. And Sitā is not Lakshmi. Sitā is Yogamaya, that's why. Because in Adhyatma, remember Adhyatma Ramayana is written by Vyasa. And Maharishi Vyasa is repeatedly says that it is that Narayan who is coming. Omkara Rupa, Vashatkara Rupa, Ekam. He is a walking Omkara. What a very, very big thing to say this. You know, we always say that Vishnu is taking this avatar and avatar. Of course, he's done all that to relieve all these people. That goes without saying. But he says Sri Ram was a walking Omkara. Wherever his feet fell, Pada Pankajam, only his feet is worshipped. That's why the beginning shloka that I started with, that though Lakshmi's spouse and Sita's spouse are undifferentiated, but I will worship him as Rāma, because that is a very, very high rupa. He was also sannyasi. You remember the ascetic yoga, Venus aspecting Ketu in the 12th house. So he had to be an ascetic. So did Lakshmana. Question was then, Bharat Shatrugna didn't go. Lakshmana went, what Guruji was mentioning yesterday, because this analysis will apply as the horoscope is the same. So, Punarvasu means the rekindling or rejuvenation of light. So, by killing the entire Ravana Kula, he rekindled the light of Dharma in this samsara. That is the Punarvasu Nakshatra. Now, if any of the Punarvasu Nakshatra don't think that you are doing the same thing. That is the whole purpose of it. But here the delicate issue also has always been her pain, as I told you, that was because she is sharp. That is the moment. See what is dharma. This is the most important learning. Moment you are Manushya Rupa, whether it's Maya Manushya Rupa, but the moment you are, you cannot break dharma. So you have to feel pain, tears will come from your eyes, and you have to see Yama's face. You cannot not see Yama's face. So even Sri Ram had to see. So Kalipi Yama came. And then they all walked. He wore a thin cloth. He took off his Rajavesha. He wore a thin cloth of like a sadhu. He walked to Ayodhya. He said, everybody wanted to go with him. They said, if you are descending Swarga, we will Vaikuntha, not Swarga, we will all come with you. So all the Vanaras, the animals, all Ayodhya Vasi, citizens of Ayodhya, brothers, they all went. All of them went over there. He wore that and he said he didn't look at anybody. In his mouth was only chanting the Vedas. That Sri Rama wore a thin cloth and chanted only the Vedas. And he walked to Sarayu. He entered Sarayu, closed his eyes and came into his Vishnu Swarupa. Every Rishi that existed, every Devata that existed came down because Sri Hari was going back to Vaikuntha. Every one of them came down. He just took that Rupa and that's it. They don't say that he departed. They say Lakshman departed. They say that he just took that Rupa. And then Sarayu was back.
I feel that, actually the word Narayana also means one who travels by means of water. Narayana is water and Ayana is the travel. One who travels by means of water.
Yeah.
So when he went into the Jala, he was traveling back to Vaikuntha. It's not that
No,
he was
he was-
or anything.
He travelled back to
Back to
Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha by means of water.
They
Yes,
said the Rath, they all came down, including Sri Devi Bhudevi. They all came down. He took his full form
Yes.
and he went straight to Vaikuntha. He didn't assume, intermediary Vishnu Rupa. It is straight the Vyakta Narayana. Straight. That is why you have that is the major difference between him and a lot of the other avatars. They are all showing all rupas, but he was manifested in that rupa. And remember, he is associated with the Lagna. Rāma avatar is associated with the Lagna, with the Aries. In the Jara Kendra, the 4 avatars, he is associated with the Lagna. So that is the Pradata. When you talk about Purusha Sukta, he is the Purusha Sukta, totally. Okay? Anybody has any questions? Yeah.
Ramji was 16.
Yes.
So how old was
Sitā
Sita?
was much younger. Sitā was younger, but not very young. She was not a child. She was not a child, she was marriageable age. She would have been, yeah. Because you see, when you are a part of the same, in the sense the male and female energy, they are the same. So actually from that logic, their age should be the same also. Then you can't have somebody who's born younger and all that. She is the divine feminine who resided with Narayan. So they are actually the same age. They cannot be different age over there.
Nobody ever mentions how.
No, but she was not a Baal. She cannot be a Baal.
No. That's like.
Yeah. His thing is because they said he completed his study and he had not reached 16. He had not completed 16. So it was the 16th year and not the 17th year. When the king decided to talk about his marriage, and the day he opened his mouth, Vishwamitra storms into the thing, lest anything else happens. And the whole actually Ramayana begins therefrom. Ramayana doesn't begin before that. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that when Rama was born, he born from Kaushalya's womb.
Yeah.
So do we take, because Sita was not born naturally,
She was from the thing. Yeah.
So Yogamaya cannot born, no woman can hold Yogamaya in the womb, can we?
No. If the Purusha can be held in the womb, then even the Sri can be held in the womb. Yogamaya and during Krishna's birth was held in the womb. Alright, who now lives in Vivāha. Okay, but here her birth was like this.
Is there any significance in the?
Why she was even the Shaktis are also there, they come in 3 gunas. They also come in Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, So this is a recognition because she's got from the earth. Now if you say that is Bhudevi and Sridevi come a little bit later. You can say that Bhudevi is also there is unmanifested form of Bhudevi. The Avyakta Vasudeva also has a Avyakta Sridevi and Bhudevi. And then Avyakta Sridevi comes down, which he says in our Sri Lagna. Right? Avyakta Sridevi manifests in our Sri Lagna. So she can be the Avyakta Bhudevi which has found. That's why she's from the earth. She was found with the plow. Yeah, that is why her name is Sitā, because that is called Sita. That is why her name was Sitā. So he always wondered, Janaka always wondered, from where has she arrived this beautiful. That's why Narada came later and told him that who she was and who she was to get married. And that be very careful that you get her married to the right person. I mean to Sri Ram when he comes. So those things were said. Yeah.
Guruji told in the lecture that Sri Rama was the half portion of Krishna and Sri Krishna was the equivalent to Vishnu.
Sri Rama is half portion money. He had to take the Manushya Rupa. Sri Krishna didn't take a Manushya Rupa. He did Avatara. That's why he came with all his weapons. And when the time came, those weapons would come out. Or he killed Jarasandha, Kamsa, all by throwing the chakra and everything. He showed his Rupa did it. But here, the requirement to kill Ravana was that you have to be Manushya Rupa. That is why he came as Manushya Rupa, and his accompanying things came as separate avatara. That is why Bharat was incarnated as Shankha, and Shatrughna was incarnated, Chakra was incarnated as, Sudarshan Chakra was incarnated as Chakra, and the Shankha was incarnated as Bharata. Because he couldn't take that, that was a requirement, otherwise how would he have killed Ravana? Because no Devata can kill him.
Then how can we say he is the Omkara if he is the half portion of Vishnu?
He is half portion, but he is a direct manifestation of Omkara, of Narayan. That is why he is called Omkara. Direct. He did not take any other kind of form. He just converted himself into, we are not saying, this is Vyasdev saying. He converted himself just into a Manushya form and he came. So he is a direct thing. He did not come as other thing where he's not showing sometimes Vishnu Rupa, sometimes the other Rupas. No. He just transformed. It's the only Rupa where he transforms and comes as a man. In no other avatar this is there. So it is straight Narayan, there was no via media. Narayan himself, Anantashayan, Avyakta Narayan himself, manifested himself in Manushya Rupa and came to this loka. So he had a Jonija birth. He was born into the womb of the mother. He saw Yama's face, then he left.
And second question is Yama is connected to Rath. Yama tracks us to Rath.
Yama is Dharmaraj. And the dharma or the rule of the samsara is that if you have taken birth, you will have to die. Nobody can turn this away. Nobody. None of the gods, no Shiva, nobody. That is the kala. It has to be. That is the dharma. If that breaks, then the entire Srishti and creation, everything will break. So if he has taken birth, he will have to see Yama's face and die. Sri Krishna also had to go, but he didn't have to see Yama's face. But there was a way that the arrow came and he died. But since he came in Manushya Rupa, he had to see Yama's face. That's why Brahma sent him, go and show your face, his work is done. And Kala comes in fearful way. Brahma sends me, Shri Brahma has sent me. I have to tell you that your work is done. Please remember your Vishnu Rupa. Yes, so he knew. So Lakshman also saw the place because Lakshman has to go immediately before it. Ananta, Sheshnath has to be ready over there. And Sitā also went just before that. So Sitā was kept in the Patala Loka by the Naga Loka actually, not Patala Loka. Naga Loka, and then they sent her off to there. Without Sheshnath being over there, Narayan cannot, that group of Narayan cannot go. He is not just in Goloka hanging around with Lakshmi. He is going straight over there and probably will straight go into Yoga Nidra. Straight. That is Avyakta Narayan.
I just wanted to say that this was the complete Vivāha form of Narayan.
Total.
See, there are supposed to be, Vishnu is supposed to have 4 forms, travel in 4 ways, you know. Vivāha has Chaturgati, this is part of Vishnu's Asmanam. And in Rāma avatar, all the 4 forms
All.
Yeah.
Even to Jagannatha, we say he is the Chaturdha Murti because there is Jagannath, Balabhadra, Subhadra and Sudarshana. So it's known as the Chaturdha Murti, the 4-fold path. Because everything is 4, you know, in him. So in Puri also, that's why when they light the lamp, they always say to give 4 wicks. It is everything is 4 because he is related to the number 4, Chaturdha Murti. That is why he came with all of them, with Sheshnaga, with Shankha and with Chakra. And why with just Shankha and Chakra? That is the Rupa of Narayan. See, Mukti over here of Balaji is of Narayan. They don't hold the lotus and the Gada. When the lotus and the Gada is held, then Vyakta Narayan and Vishnu Rupa comes in over there. And when it is only Shankha and Chakra, the other 2 in only blessing Mudra, that is the form of Narayan. That is why only these 2, the other 2, the Gada didn't come in an incarnation, only these 2 came. Sheshnaga and these 2. Pure Narayan Murti. Pure. And it is that's why he is called Maryada Purushottama. Why is he called? Because he walked the earth, that's why he's called to be he's said to be the semblance of the divine and the perfect man. Because he incarnated as the perfect man, doing all his dharmas to everybody and everything. Question, that's why, which is raised by academics and in modern world, that if he's the perfect man and if he's following dharma, then in that language, why did he, why was the narrative such that he had to tell her to go? Because if you're talking about dharma, is Raj Dharma above Pati Dharma? So then that question would be yes, because in Raj Dharma, Raja is alone over everybody. Everybody else comes second. If you people have seen even the crown, if you know about Queen Elizabeth II's life, this same thing is talked about over there. When she gets anointed at a very young age, the anointment is a very spiritual thing. Because they say that you are then anointed to God, you are answerable only to God, nobody else. It's a divine what do you say, it's a divine mission. When you have that, then she had to take many decisions which her family really criticized her for. Like her sister, she told her sister not to get married to the person she loved, and her sister never forgot her because that according to Raj Dharma, that's what she had to choose. Similarly, even regarding where her husband was concerned, Prince Philip, she had to take many decisions because she put Raja Dharma on top. So it's nothing to do with, whether it's Asia or whether it's Europe or UK. Raja Dharma in a very high way, where it is spiritually ordained, that you are answerable only to God. Alright? If you are interested, you watch King Charles' coronation from that point of view, right from the beginning. And what happens when he enters the church, a boy comes and says, "Welcome to the house of God, in the name of God." Everything is in the name. See it from that, not as an entertainment. See it and listen to every thing, whether in his coronation or whether in his mother's coronation case, it's much more stronger because naturally she coming from a different generation really believe that you're married. That's why you're anointed with the holy water, which nobody can see because that's sacred. It's like a diksha. So you have to take decisions by which your sister, Princess Margaret, never forgave her. You're so cruel, you're hard-hearted, her husband, everybody, that you don't have any mamata, any karuna, any mercy. Because if you are following Raja Dharma, you will take as a sovereign, you will take your family will come second. It is there in all countries. That's why they say it's not easy at all. You think that ideally it should not apply to a head of state, but a head of state is not spiritually ordained by a priest or a pandit, right? There is no spiritual ordainment to the President of America or to the Prime Minister of the country. They are ordained by the Constitution of the country. So if they suddenly say, no, I want to do this because, my priority is my wife or my mother, he has all the right to say it, actually. I mean, you can argue, no, but they're taking an oath to protect the country. But you can. There is no spiritual ordainment in that. Right? But here, whether it's a sovereign of the UK or sovereign of Koshala, it is the same thing. That is why, whether they like it or not, he will put Raj Dharma above the wife. This was a question. Actually, these were all Manoj Gupta's question. He's not here. So he did do it. That would be the answer. It has been done over generations. It is not easy being a king. And the question is that what you are, that being the God, why did he have to suffer? It is because of Jerusalem. So that had to be woven in. Okay? Any other questions? Yeah.
Why do we say Ravana as Ashtamesha and not as the sixth lord, given that he's the enemy?
Ravana is Ashtamesha. Shashtesha is Jupiter. See how close.
No, but the sixth lord is also the enemy as in general reference. Why?
But I'm not talking about the enemy. I was discussing the Mangalya Sthana. I was talking about the Mangalya Sthana. Whenever there is association of 7th house and 8th house, the first marriage breaks.
Okay, that's the reference point. Okay.
Yeah, Ashtamesh.
Got it.
Ashtamesh is Rahu, which is Ravana. Ashtamesh is Ravana. Shashtesh is not Ravana. Marriage may, the 6th lord doesn't play a role. Marriage to the 8th lord, that is the Mangalya Sthana. So the lord of Mangalya Sthana is Ravana in this chart. He did the job. He did the job of breaking the marriage. That was his bad Neecha Drishti of the 7th house. It was indeed a Neecha Drishti. When I was younger, when we were younger and we read the Ramayana, we wouldn't know. We just thought that he kidnapped and that other people interpreted it as rape and all that is wrong. But the words are used that he said, I will rape her. He's used the word. And then Marika said that Nadhakshavati, what are you talking about? We thought that's okay. He can do it, he can just pick up women anywhere and he can rape them. That is a true Rakshas. What else is a Rakshas? That is the Neecha Drishti on the second. Very bad Drishti. The thing and the mother. You wouldn't think that entire Ketu Yoga and the 8th Lord aspecting Tithi Lord, Mangalika dosha, fully everything functioned. That is why that sort of astrologically we see that sorrow that he suffered. Theologically, we know it was a shock of view. You get the point? Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
What can be Shunya Vivāha in today's modern context? What is the Shunya Vivāha in modern context? If we say like
Shunya Vivāha means Shunya, the marriage has gone for a 6. Shunya means the marriages go for a 6. It can be death, it can be separation, it can be a lot of suffering through separation. See, Rāma and Sitā experienced everything. Rāma, Sitā, Lakshmana, Urmila, they all experienced this whole thing in all the different aspects. Every different aspects of this breakage of marriage and Mangalika dosh, physical separation, mental trauma, soul separation, actual going away, giving up, leaving the spouse you work, the whole gamut is here. So in modern context, if you have it, it is not good, which means that if you are in the marriage, then in the marriage only you will separate. The marriage may not be anything. Maybe there is no conjugal relationship with the spouse. Maybe you two are together, but there is nothing in the marriage, and eventually separation happens. Or sometimes some people can't even get married. Ketu is very strong with that, and the yoga with the Tithi Lord or the 7th Lord. Because 7th Lord, Tithi Lord is like Venus, like the 7th Lord. So if that thing is very strong, then often a person may not even want to get married. Even that can be there. Many kind of context. But if you see, their marriage showed all contexts of separation, every kind. Torture, mental torture, trauma, anxiety, physical separation, everything was there. Coming back together, coming not back together, walking out on spouse, everything is there. Their entire marriage shows all of it. Yeah.
So the curse of Vishnu and Narada was for Narayana, Sri Rama.
Yeah.
Sita never had any. Sita, nobody gave curse to Sita.
No, but Sitā is his Shakti, so they will go through it. See, how can you separate the Shakti from the divine? They are together. They will experience everything together. She comes every time he comes. She has to be there. Yogmaya has to be there. That is why, because his Yogmaya, they say she could have done it in different ways. That her essence was here and a Mayavi Sattva went as a thing. All that can all be there. But this separation had to be enacted out. Yeah.
Is it possible to see that Sita was an incarnation of Yogamaya just from Sri Rama's Rashi chart?
7th Lord Ucha, Shukra. I told you when Shukra is Ucha, they are looking for divine. Karaka was 7th house. Shukra Ucha is divine. We don't have his Navamsha, remember. If we knew the Charakarakatvas, if we knew the Navamshas, then life would have been, yes, Lakshmi has to go. Yeah. So life would have been much more easier. Yeah, we don't have that, but the fact that Karaka Shukra is Ucha and not this son, of course. She is not an incarnation of what is Yogma and herself who's came and manifested as Sita. Yogma is a Shakti, so she can't take avatara, so she just manifests herself in the body. Yeah.
Does this really Kumbha Vivāha remedy works for the Western kind of thinking and culture?
It can work for any culture if you know the purpose. Purpose being that if your marriage is being showing that the first marriage is going to end, then I can say, why not do a mock marriage, like do a play mock marriage, and end the marriage, and then when I get married to a real person, that will be like a second marriage.
But the person should really believe in this.
You should believe even when you are doing a mantra. Whether it's Western or Indian, there are many Indians who don't believe in it. If they don't believe in it, then even for doing a mantra, if you don't believe in the mantra, why mantra? Do you know for the doctors when they give you a medicine, if you don't have faith in the doctor, even allopathic doctors believe that in India. If you don't have faith in the doctor, the medicine of the doctor doesn't work. If you have faith in the doctor, the medicines will work.
So it's on the Jyotisha to...
No, you cannot convince anybody. No, Vivāha. We can tell them. Like many times we recommend. Guruji also says to so many of his clients, he gives remedies. He says that no, those who do the remedy get the results. Everybody doesn't do. They may not believe in it. It has nothing to do with Indian or Western. Many Indians also do not believe in it. It's an individual thing. They do not just believe it. And if you believe and do the remedies, they do work. They don't do themselves have done everything. I do 10 malas 3 times a day. What rubbish they don't? They are all lying. They don't. Believe me.
Just think at home, what do I marry a pot or something like that?
No, there is a ritualistic procedure. You just can't go and marry a pot. It's a very elaborate Vedic procedure where the priest will conduct it for you. Where you are either married to a tulsi tree or you are married to a pot. There is an entire whole marriage ceremony where a kalash is established. In the kalash, the devatas are established. Without the devatas being established in a pot, you cannot have any puja without their presence. So the kalash that is there, the devatas are established in the kalash. Then they are married. For a wedding ceremony takes place. Then the pot or the tree, whatever, will reside in the room with you. Will reside in the room with you as I be married. It's a very elaborate, it's a Vedic ritual, and it takes place for 3-4 hours. We just don't get married. I mean, somebody has to know to perform it. You have to get a trained pandit to perform it and do this for you. Yeah. Somebody doesn't believe it and doesn't want to do it, of course you can't force the person to do it. You can merely suggest to somebody as a Jyotishi. This is what you're recommending. Doctor can write a prescription. Now whether the patient will go and buy the medicines and eat it, that's not in the doctor's hands.
Does it work if the Upapada goes to again non-auspicious place, the next Upapada is also bad? Does one Kumbha Vivāha work for all?
Yeah, this is basically when there is a 7th house, 8th house problem. That when there is a 7th house, 8th house association which will show it will break, yeah, it will work for one Upapada only. It will work for all that. Meaning, you had a karma of having a broken marriage, so you've done that by doing a mock marriage. That karma you're burning by doing a mock marriage. This is what it says.
Another question about the research for Tithi by Vivāha. Jupiter is also ruling 6 houses.
No, it doesn't work like that. Tithi, we say that the Vivāha Tithi must have a connection with the 9th house, or the 9th lord. Right? So since 9th lord is Jupiter, we would normally say a Panchami or Trayodashi Tithi, the marriage should ideally take place. Many times it doesn't because there are other, we were discussing, I mean those are just common Jyotish actually analysis, but people still ask. But in a very regular marriage, that is what should happen. So in that case, we are assuming this was all very regular, she was his first, spouse, then it would have taken place either on Panchami or Trayodashi. Now the common practice which is there everywhere, that is that they are all celebrated on Panchami Tithi. It is celebrated in Ayodhya, it is celebrated very big, in a big way in Mithila as well. They call it Vivāha Panchami. And in Mithila, they have this thing they ensure that their daughters are not married on this Vivāha Panchami, on the Rāma-Sitā marriage Panchami day, because they consider that their daughter had an inauspicious marriage, and they also have a saying that they will never marry a daughter of that region to a boy from Ayodhya. They follow that. Yeah, they don't do it, so that they think that their daughter, the daughter of that land had a bad marriage. Because in the manifestation, because that's what happened. Yeah, I'm looking. Yes.
Some spirituality.
Okay, last have a session. Okay, any more questions? Yeah. Oh, that is your duplicated Ketu. Oh, the Rishi, you know what he's saying? The fourth? Can somebody, I can understand what you think. I can't hear actually.
He's saying if we make
Yeah, if you can just come up a bit or use the mic.
Same. If we make fourth house, the Lagna is that kind of the basically perspective of the story you said about the curse, because Vishnu killed his wife. Because in the third house from Shani, Rahu, it's like curse, and the fourth house from Shani is Mars, is like anger, and the eighth house from Shani is Buddha. This is probably
But why did I see it from Shani?
because he rules the eighth house of Rāma.
So why would that show the curse of?
I think because Shani normally shows the rishis.
No. You see Jupiter for rishis or Ketu for rishis. You don't see Shani for
No.
rishis.
Yeah.
Not at all. We see Jupiter for the rishis. We can then take the separate planets and say which planet can represent which rishi. Like for example, Ketu represents Narada. The Sapta Rishis are plotted against all the grahas. So we can say that in that case, if I want to associate Shani with any rishi, it is Vashishta. Yeah. And Venus is associated with Bhrigu Rishi. Yeah, Venus is associated with that. Bhargavi. Okay, any other question? The curse is in all the combinations we discussed. The many combinations we discussed for breakage of marriage, that is the curse. That is the curse that he suffered. That's why those sufferings were all there. So actually, even with just a Rashi chart, you can get a lot of information about this marriage, as you can see. Because initially you think, oh my God, no Navamsha, no Charakara Tattvas, no degrees, what shall we do? Okay, but